Is it true if you eat sugar, it's going to feed cancer cells? Is it true that if you use deodorants or antiperspirants, this is going to cause breast cancer? I'm Dr. Michal Chovanec, and as an oncologist, I see these problems every day. I hear the myths talked about in the office and in my clinic. In this video, we're going to debunk the 5 biggest myths about cancer that I hear in my clinic every day. Myth number 1. Sugar feeds cancer. A lot of people are worried that if they eat sugar, especially fast sugars or additional sugars, this is going to cause cancer growth, or this may cause their cancers to go more active. This premise comes from the fact that cancer needs to grow and it needs energy. The cancer feeds same nutrients as we do as humans, so it needs some fuel, just like glucose, which is a fast sugar. But hear me out. The problem is the cancer is smarter than all of us may think. The cancer can do and bypass and adapt. It can even thrive without the oxygen. So yes, it can eat sugar. It can also eat lipids, or it can take proteins that it finds in its own microenvironment. So if we're going to try to stress out the cancer and try to restrict that fuel infusion, we're going to first starve ourselves, and only then the cancer can be starved ultimately when the person having a cancer is already too weak. So what we need to focus on in cancer treatment is first, stay healthy, be well nourished, eat well, stay hydrated, and only then you can be strong enough to put up the fight with the cancer. I hear this in my clinic quite often, and even some of my patients wanted to go through the fasting for 7 days, for 2 weeks, for 40 days. And unfortunately, in all the cases, it leads to total exhaustion and some unfortunate endings. Stay healthy and stay fit. This is all we need for a baseline to start fighting with the cancer. Myth number 2. Biopsy or surgery can spread the cancer. So this is the tough one. This comes from the fact that when we're sticking a needle into the tumor, if we opening up the surface of the body, cutting through skin and trying to get to the cancer, we're damaging the surrounding structures. We are introducing injury into that surrounding tissue. And the premise comes from the fact that cancer cells can travel and can spread, so we may make it easier for the cancer to spread. The truth is, the scientists paid a lot of attention to this, and to be completely honest, there are some data that in about 1% of the cases, this may help promote the cancer dissemination, so cancer spreading more easily into the surroundings or into the distance through the vessels, through the tissues. However, when scientists look at the outcome of the patients, this means when they looked at the fact how long were they living if they opted for the biopsy, and then subsequently with the correct diagnosis, they received the treatment, or when they opted not to go for the biopsy and therefore staying in the blind, these patients lived significantly shorter. So if we have to choose how to act on a cancer, it is the best idea to find as much information on cancer as we can. Myth number 3. Deodorant or antiperspirant causes cancer, especially breast cancer. And again, I hear this myth every single day in my clinic, and there's a lot of debate and fear coming out of this. Is this healthy for me? Am I putting some toxins in my armpits when I use deodorant or antiperspirant? The fact is, deodorant just covers your smell. There are no active chemicals that could be dangerous to our bodies. The real question comes with antiperspirant. Antiperspirant uses aluminium. Aluminium is a metal, and in a very small concentrations, these aluminium particles will shrink your pores, so there is no perspiration, there is no odor. And I use antiperspirant every day, And I feel quite safe about it, and I'm going to tell you why. Those amounts of aluminum that are included in the antiperspirant are incredibly low concentration. Only 0.012% of those particles are able to enter our body. This is a study published in 2001. This is an older study, but it has its merit. If we compare those 0.012% that enters our body with how much we're getting with food and water and drinks, this is a smaller amount compared to what we're getting with food. In the long-term studies, there was no evidence that aluminum in the antiperspirant causes any kind of breast cancer. We can scratch that one out, right? The myth number 4, and this one is really serious. This one talks about if you're receiving a diagnosis of cancer, this is automatically a death sentence. And I want to be very clear, this is unfair and extremely stigmatizing to a huge population of people who gets cancer every year. In the United States in 2025, it is expected that 2 million people are diagnosed with new cancer. Whether we like it or not, the cancer is all around us, but it is not as dismal and fatal as we once thought. Whole world is stigmatized and is scared. This is a really scary word, but it turns out in most of the time, if the cancer is spread, that means metastatic, it is a chronic disease and patients can live for years with a cancer like that. Most of the cases, however, it's about 70% of the time, the cancer is diagnosed in so-called early stage. That means it's localized in one organ, just like bladder, just like kidney or breast, and it's curable. Curable in most of the times. It is difficult to find out the one right number, but it moves somewhere from 70 to 99% for cancers which untreated will be deadly. I want to clear that out. Getting a diagnosis of cancer is not a death sentence. It is a new start to a new life that's going to be complicated and it's going to be tough, but one can put out a really great fight to be able to live long and quality life. The myth number 5, the attitude causes or cures cancer. It is a matter of how I look at life, how positive I am about things, whether I have a chance or not to win against the cancer. This is, again, highly unfair to people, and this is bringing a lot of blame to their lives. Did I do something wrong? Did I not live a good and healthy life? Did I not try my best now that I'm getting a cancer? Of course not. Everybody is trying our best. Somebody is more successful, somebody is less successful, but we are all struggling through our lives to be our best selves. To be blamed like this is simply not fair. Cancer and its biology is a much more complex topic than just simply relying on our psychology. Yes, psychology is important. However, the cancer is extremely complex disease and its biological behavior depends on multiple factors. Some of them we don't even know yet. So it's first the biology of the cancer, then what treatments we do have available, and only then it is how we act on a cancer. So yes, we can do a lot, but simply trying to cure cancer with a good attitude is not going to be enough. So there you have it. Those are the 5 biggest myths that I hear in my clinic every day. And I hope I cleared things for you at least a little bit. And I'm looking forward for our next episodes and the series we're preparing for you. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe. This will help the channel tremendously. And in my next video, I'm going to list 10 things one needs to do when diagnosed with cancer. If you think that would be helpful for you, please see the next episode. I'm Dr. Michal Chovanec, and I'm happy to talk to you about cancer, medicine, and science.